Come see us on tour. We'll be in Tempe, Arizona with a special celebrity guest on that show. Columbus, Ohio, Dayton, Ohio, Burbank, California, and Honolulu. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets. Did you hear about this story? This will show you how much control over our news media that AIPAC has and the Israel lobby. Reporter slams Jake Tapper and Dana Bash for false charge of anti-Semitism against Rashida Tlaib. You're spreading lies. And you know how much it bothers me to stick up for Rashida Tlaib because she lies all the time. She lied about forced to vote. She lies about the Democrats. There isn't a thing she hasn't lied about. But she is standing up for the people of Palestine. You know why? Because she's Palestinian. That's the one thing she'll do. But now they're trying to paint her. That's the one thing she'll stand up against the Democratic Party on, is the Palestine-Israel issue. And the only reason is because her parents are straight from Palestine. So they're calling her anti-Semitic, right? But you have to remember now, virtually everything out of your mouth or in your mind is anti-Semitic, just so you know that. It's anti-Semitic for me to even say something's anti-Semitic, I'm pretty sure. It's anti-Semitic to criticize anti-Semite. The word anti-Semitic, it's crazy. You can't get out of it. If your aunt comes to visit you and she's Semitic, you can't call her anti-Semitic. There will be consequences. That's all I'm saying. During an interview with Detroit Metro Times reporter Steve Neavling, I'll say Neavling, Rashida Tlaib criticized, here's the story. She criticized the Michigan Attorney General, Dana Nessel, for filing charges against pro-Palestinian protesters at the University of Michigan. The representative claimed the charges set a dangerous precedent, meaning Tlaib, the representative. Tlaib claimed the charges, what a shitty, horrible writing at Mediaite. The representative claimed the charges set a dangerous precedent and claimed Nessel's agency may have possible biases, considering the fact that she hadn't charged demonstrators for other causes. So she hadn't charged anybody for any of the other demonstrations. They could demonstrate for clean air or free water or... The comment has been criticized by some, including CNN's Jake Tapper and the Anti-Defamation League, as anti-Semitic. It wasn't. Tapper has also repeatedly claimed that Tlaib accused Nessel of being biased because she is Jewish. So the Attorney General is Jewish. They're saying that Rashida Tlaib said she's biased because she's Jewish. That's not what she said. So they're making that up so they could call her an anti-Semite. Tlaib did not mention the Attorney General's religious beliefs anywhere in the full quote. So let's listen to Jake Tapper.
But do you think Attorney General...
Hang on, here we go.
But do you think Attorney General Nessel is not doing her job? Because Congresswoman Tlaib is suggesting that she shouldn't be prosecuting these individuals that Nessel says broke the law, and that she's only doing it because she's Jewish.
That's not what she said. So that's Jake Tapper spreading misinformation. Is that misinformation or disinformation? I don't know what the difference is. But anyway.
And the protesters are not. That's quite...
Remember, the biggest liars are the government. The second biggest liars is the corporate news media. Here he is blatantly lying. And it's because he always carries water for Israel. That's why.
Quite an accusation. Do you think it's true?
Like I said, Jake, I'm not going to get in the middle of this argument that they're having.
You're not going to tell the truth about it? You're not going to clear it up? You're going to keep letting Jake Tapper just repeat the lie? Okay. So there's Jake Tapper lying. On Monday, the guy who did the interview with Rashida Tlaib, who they're all referring to that she said the anti-Semitic thing, he came out and said, you guys are all lying about this story. I was the reporter. Fact check, Rashida Tlaib did not say Nessel charged pro-Palestinian protesters because she's Jewish. That's the guy who did the interview. Is it anti-Semitic to point out that someone else is lying about you? Maybe. Here's his tweet. He says the false claims from State Senator Jeremy Allen Moss, Attorney General Dana Nessel, CNN, J Insider, and the ADL's Greenblatt were based on an interview I did with U.S. Representative Rashida Tlaib. I know what was said during the interview, and it was not what was characterized. So, here we go. Later that day, Tapper posted a statement from Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer condemning the narrative that Nessel would make charging decisions based on her religion as opposed to the rule of law. Again, they're just making this up. Under that tweet, Neveling addressed Tapper directly with a link to his article, fact-checking the media's response to it. Governor Whitmer's statement just now, the suggestion that Attorney General Nessel would make charging decisions based on her religion as opposed to the rule of law is anti-Semitic. Attorney General says these guys are just hilarious. It's like when they called Bernie a sexist and then they called Trump a sexist. Well, then that doesn't mean anything. So that's what they're doing to anti-Semitic. Now anti-Semitic's like a joke. It's like a joke to call someone anti-Semite now. It's like a joke. Attorney General Nessel has always conducted her work with integrity and followed the rule of law. We must all use our platform and voices to call out hateful rhetoric and racist tropes. Wow. So here's that guy. I'm the reporter who interviewed Rashida Tlaib. She never said Nessel did this because she's Jewish. Never. You're spreading lies. He's telling Jake Tapper and Gretchen Whitmer. Later in the day, Neveling slammed CNN's Dana Bash for her analysis of this situation. Dana Bash, here's what she said.
And now to a sad reality, and that is anti-Semitism is everywhere. And it comes from both ends.
It's everywhere. First of all, it's not everywhere. And that's because you're conflating anti-Zionist sentiments with anti-Semitism. You can hate Zionism and be against Israel and not be an anti-Semite. Those are different, totally different things. But that's because she's conflating it. And they're all lying about what Rashida Tlaib said.
And now to a sad reality, and that is anti-Semitism is everywhere. And it comes from both ends.
Dana, is anti-Semitism in the room with us right now? That's my question.
Of the political spectrum, but politicians sometimes sidestep calling it out when it comes from a member of their own party. We saw two examples on State of the Union yesterday. First, with Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer, when my co-anchor Jake Tapper asked about a Democratic Congresswoman's accusation that the state's Jewish Attorney General was letting her religion influence her job.
They're just making that up. Again, do you see how this happens? Do you see how this is just like ivermectin is horse dewormer? Is safe and effective. This is not how it happens. This is how about Ukraine is a victim.
Do you think that Tlaib's suggestion that Nessel's office is biased was anti-Semitic?
Listen, Jake, you know what? All I can say is that I know that our Jewish community is in pain, as is our Palestinian and Muslim and Arab communities in Michigan.
Congresswoman Tlaib is suggesting that she shouldn't be prosecuting these individuals that Nessel says broke the law, and that she's only doing it because she's Jewish and the protesters are not. That's quite an accusation. Do you think it's true?
Like I said, Jake, I'm not going to get in the middle of this argument that they're having.
So, again, here's the guy who did the interview they're all basing this lie on. He says now Dana Bash from CNN is lying about what happened. U.S. Representative Tlaib did not say Nessel filed the charges because she's Jewish. She said there is an anti-Palestinian attitude among many institutions, and most of them are not run by Jewish people. Isn't it great to be right in the middle of a Curb Your Enthusiasm episode? Because that's what this feels like. Update, 9:20 p.m. on Monday, Jake Tapper clarified on CNN during an interview with Nessel that he misspoke when he characterized Tlaib's comments as anti-Semitic. Now, if I did something like that, it would be the first thing you read in my Wikipedia entry. Jimmy Dore peddled false claims. They're not going to do that to Jake Tapper. They're not going to do that to CNN. They're not going to do that to Dana Bash. They're not going to do that to Gretchen Whitmer, but they will do it to me. On 9:20 p.m. Monday, Jake Tapper clarified to CNN during an interview with Nessel, and he misspoke when he characterized Tlaib's comments as anti-Semitic. He asked Nessel to comment on the criticism she's facing for claiming Tlaib's comments were bigoted. Someone got a visit from Dybbuk. I should note that I misspoke yesterday when asking a follow-up of Governor Whitmer, who I asked about this. I was trying to characterize your views of Tlaib's comments, Tapper said, before asking, what do you make of those today, noting that Congresswoman Tlaib never explicitly said your bias was because of your religion, and so it's unfair for you to make that allegation? Wow, that took a while. Dana Bash then says, a clarification on the story we brought you yesterday. Okay, a clarification. So when they get caught lying, it's a clarification and they misspoke.
A clarification on a story.
But when it's someone else does, they're peddling lies and misinformation, and they should be censored.
A clarification on a story we brought you yesterday concerning Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib's comments attacking a decision by Michigan Attorney General Dana Nessel to bring charges against pro-Palestinian protesters at the University of Michigan. Tlaib accused Nessel of, quote, biases. Here's Tlaib's full quote to the Detroit Metro Times. It seems that the Attorney General decided if the issue was Palestine, she was going to treat it differently. And that alone speaks volumes about possible biases within the agency she runs. Now, Tlaib did not reference Nessel's Jew.
Isn't it weird that they didn't, quote, give their full quote up until now? Why wouldn't you show the quote at the beginning? Here's what she said. Isn't that interesting? Well, because it's easier to smear and lie someone at the behest of Israel than it is to act, because that's it. And then when you get called and called out repeatedly, then finally you show the quote. Wouldn't the first job a news person does, if you're going to make that accusation, show the quote? That would be the first thing you would do. If you're going to make that kind of accusation, you would show the quote.
Identity. Her office has not responded to our request for clarity. Her allies insist that's not what she meant. But Nessel still says she believes it is anti-Semitic and repeated on CNN yesterday that, quote, clearly she's referencing my religion.
So if a Jew says it's anti-Semitic, that's it. There's no getting out of it. Katie Helper is a Jew for Ceasefire Now. She says, Dana, the only thing you're clarifying is that you and Jake Tapper are the lying, bigoted Jewish supremacists who we've been saying you are. You both should not only be fired, but shunned by polite society for your hatred of Palestinians and rank dishonesty. Wow, good thing Katie Helper's a Jew. I bet she's still anti-Semitic. Even if she's a Jew. She's a self-hater. She's a self-hating Jew. So there you go. Good job, Katie Helper, and bad job by CNN. Isn't that weird? AOC just put out a video. She said if you spread misinformation, you got to be put in jail or something. That's what Hillary Clinton said. They're doing this at the behest of a foreign country. They're not even doing this for people. They're doing this at the behest of a foreign country. They're lying like this. They're the thing that they claim Donald Trump is. That's the irony, of course. Hey, have you ever wondered what happened to the legendary Chuck Norris? I know I do. I recently saw a video he made, and I was shocked. He's in his 80s, and he's still kicking butt and working out and staying active. That's true. What's even more shocking is he's stronger, can work out longer, and even has plenty of energy left over for his grandkids. He did this by just making one change. He says he still feels like he's in his 50s. That's me. His wife even started doing this one thing too, and she's never felt better. What is that one thing, Jimmy? Well, let's read on. She says she feels 10 years younger. Her body looks leaner, and she has energy all day. Chuck made a special video, which I watched. He made a special video that explains everything. Make sure you watch it by going to chuckdefense.com/Jimmy or by clicking on the link below this video. It will change the way you think about your health. Once again, that's chuckdefense.com/Jimmy, and click on the link in the description below to watch the video now. I watched it. You won't believe how simple it is. Just a reminder, the legendary Chuck Norris is a whopping 84 years old, and yet he has more energy than me. That's true. He discovered he could create dramatic changes to his health simply focusing on 3 things that sabotage our body as we age. Watch his method by clicking the link in the description box below, chuckdefense.com/Jimmy. Come see us on tour. Be in Tempe, Arizona with a special celebrity guest on that show. Columbus, Ohio, Dayton, Ohio, Burbank, California, and Honolulu. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets.